Okay, I caught the whip and wrapped it with the shiny collar. Speak the deal, she $20. I'm truly right now, I'm up on the night out. Ooh, she went clean my belt too. From to back, I'm willing to bet the niggas is back. I'm the click.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Haley J. Welcome back to my channel. Today we getting real comfy and cozy, and we just gonna sit down and talk. We're gonna get into some things. I told y'all we was gonna turn it up a notch, so I'm not gonna take too long. Let's get right into it. And also, I have my computer here because I have a little bit of some notes that I just want to make sure I hit on. So if I'm looking down, that's all I'm looking at. So I want my YouTube channel to not only be my digital diary of just the fun things that happen in my life, but I wanted to truly show the journey of me and my adulthood, my career, my journey into medicine, and anything in between. And I also want my YouTube channel to be something that people can look back on and see where I came from to where I am now, or where I will be in the future. And look back at it and say, dang, that's really motivational, and to inspire them to do what they want to do. So today I want to talk about why I decided to take a gap year, but more it's like a gap period, gap season, because it's more than just a gap year. In the video, I'm just gonna say gap year because it's just a little bit easier for me to say. And if you didn't know, I am an aspiring physician slash doctor. I was on the pre-med track when I was in college slash undergrad. And I guess technically I'm still a pre-med student, but I'm on the non-traditional track, as they would say. And I just want to take a little break before matriculating into medical school. Reason number one why I decided to take a gap year was because I was almost low-key forced to take a gap year because I was technically, as they would call it, off track. So the traditional timeline of a pre-med getting your bachelor slash undergrad is that when you're a freshman, you take your intro to science classes. So your chemistries, biologies, any other prereqs, which might be like your math or something like that. As a sophomore, you'll start orgo, maybe genetics, depending on where you go, stats, stuff like that. Then your junior year is when it gets real. Junior year is when you get into physics. Usually that's when you take genetics, again, depending on your college. And by the time you are second semester of your junior year, you are supposed to take your MCAT and then also start applying to medical school, because medical school takes a whole year to basically complete and then get your acceptance. And then by the time you're a senior, you're going through interviews, secondaries, acceptances, etc. by the time you graduate. So then when you graduate, that next fall, you'll be in medical school. So the reason why I was off track was because at my college, my advisor told me that since I didn't have some requirement for a class, I can't remember what it was, but I didn't have a specific requirement of math. It was some math class. I was not able to take my intro to like biology and chemistry. But I later found out because of my other friends, they were first semester doing bio 1, chem 1, etc. And I was like, how are they taking it and also taking that same math class that I'm taking that I was told I had to complete before getting into my intro classes? Anyway though, since I didn't do that, I was off track, off rip. And then also when I finally got into chemistry at my college, the University of Kentucky, you are able to take chemistry 1 either in full or they split it up into 2 classes. So I went on the route of splitting up my chem 1 into 2 classes. So that put me further off track, which granted, and when I look at it in hindsight, I could have maybe done it, but based off of how other freshmen at the time said how hard that class was, I wanted to make sure I had a great chemistry background. So I decided to split up my Chem 1 class to make sure I had a great background, I learned it well so that I can do well in Chem 2, which I did. And with that, since me being off track, I knew that I wasn't gonna have the orgo requirement and the physics requirement done by the time I was gonna take my MCAT. I also knew, I know my strengths and weaknesses, all right? Physics was not my strong suit, nor was orgo. If I hadn't taken those classes, at least before I took the MCAT, at least have a solid background in like the first part of those classes, I don't need to be taking an MCAT. And then with that being said, I knew that I did not have the time, the adequate time to study for that test. I was blessed to be heavily involved in a lot of extracurriculars. I didn't have to worry about having a job. I volunteered. I was always in the library studying for my classes, and I would be in there at the late hours. So I was a little bit of a night owl in college, but it would all be for my classes or my extracurriculars. There was no time for me to add in MCAT studying and then also be sane. Also get enough sleep, enough social time, enough me time. And I will always see my other friends who were a couple years ahead of me, and they would study for the MCAT. They'd be in there, I'd see them in the library at 1, 2 a.m. and then they're like,
I'm gonna be here until about 4 a.m., 5 a.m., maybe 6. I'll get probably maybe 2 hours of sleep, then I gotta get up and then go to my class, my 8 a.m.
Are you crazy? I knew I wasn't gonna do that. And after seeing them do it, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Because at the end of the day, I need to do what's best for me. I need to do what's best for me, baby. So I just knew the MCAT was gonna have to get put on hold until after I graduated college. Reason number 2 of why I decided to take a gap year / gap period was to improve my CV. Now, for those who don't know what a CV is, that is curriculum vitae. Some may call it curriculum vitae your resume, but a CV is more of your academic diary of everything that you've done in the past, while a resume is a one-page document specified for that job or opportunity that you're trying to get. Like I said before, I was super blessed to not have to work during college, but I just had a lot of time and opportunity to get involved on campus. But I just knew I fell short of my shadowing, volunteering hours, and clinical experience, in my opinion. So I also thought taking a gap year would just be a great time for me to not only diversify my shadowing, because at the time I had only shadowed with providers or physicians who were involved in the fields that I was interested in, which was dermatology and OBGYN. So this is just a great opportunity for me to just venture out and just shadow anybody that I can. And also something that I wanted to add to my CV was working in a hospital setting. And I did get that opportunity straight out of college. I was basically the person who gets the food for patients and then takes the plate out. I thought it was really cool because it was a different role in patient care. And I really love that experience. Also, if you don't know, my major was human nutrition, so that was right on my alley. Haven't been to the hospital since then. However, I have my CNA license, so hopefully I can get back into the hospital setting, add that to my CV. Basically, like I said, just boost my CV, beef it up, and just make it as great as it can be. And the final reason number 3 of why I wanted to take a gap year was to just take a damn break. Honestly, I went so, first of all, we've been going to school since we were 4 to 5 years old, nonstop, with summer breaks. And I went hard in high school and college. I went to a high school that was basically like a college prep school. We had AP classes and IB, which is International Baccalaureate, which is like a step up from AP. I took a couple of IB classes when I was in high school, and they were hard, they were difficult, but I just did it to make sure that I was the best candidate to applying for colleges. I went super hard in college trying to make sure I was the best candidate for med school, and I've just been trying to do my best, and I've just been going nonstop, and I just want to take a break. The academic anxiety that you have when you're in college is crazy. To wake up and you're like, dang, I know I need to do this. But as soon as I graduated, I still had that PTSD of like, do I have an assignment due? Oh my God, something's overdue. Oh my God. And I don't have anything. I ain't got no stress, I ain't got no worries. The only thing I had to worry about was when I was gonna start studying for the MCAT. And even after I finished taking the MCAT, I was like, I am completely done. Like, I have no worries, nothing. And that felt so freeing. It felt so good to not have to worry about your grade being on the line. The ripping and running of it all was too much, and I got sick of it, especially after COVID. Once we had to all just take a break, I finally understood the peace and the happiness that came with just slowing things down. And I truly like that I have been able to experience that for, you know, this period of time before hopping straight into something that's even more difficult than what I've ever experienced in my academic career. I want to take this time during my gap year to just step into my adulthood, have a little bit of responsibility as far as like, you know, paying bills and like just learning, you know, just things about how to be an adult. I wanted to travel, save money, which is a really big thing, spend time with my friends, my family that I can see, you know, when I can see them. And then also, I truly don't think I would have been able to get into this content creation thing had it not been for me taking a gap year. I have a lot more, or a little bit more free time on my hands to invest in a great camera, great equipment, figure out my editing style, what I like to make, just make things that make me happy outside of an academic setting. So honestly, this is the number 1 reason and the best reason as to why I took a gap year. I just wanted a break. Overall, I am really enjoying this gap season. It's actually gonna be a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but that's okay. I think the only thing that I would have considered, or I should have considered when I decided to take a gap year, I think it was like my sophomore or junior year of college, was understanding how long it was gonna take to take the MCAT, apply to medical school, all the things, and realize that, like, you know, when you study for the MCAT, that's gonna be one period of time. It could be half the year, it could be the whole year. Applying to medical school is gonna take an entire year and some change before you get into the next academic year for you to actually go. If I truly wanted to take one gap year, I should have taken my MCAT during my senior year of college. I should have started applying to medical school that May of my senior year, right when I was graduating. That's when I should have started applying for college, so that by the time a full year happened, I would have been in college. Granted, you don't know if you're gonna make it into medical school yet. However, you know, That's what I should have done in order to take 1 full year. I think that's the only cons I have of the gap year, is that you can get maybe a little bit caught up in the free time, the leisureness, and just going through life and not understanding, like, you know, how long each thing is gonna take, especially when applying to medical school. So I will say, advice for anyone who's thinking about a gap year, I say do it. Have a great time, live life. Honestly, medical school is always gonna be there. I know people say that, and when I heard it, I would be like, you know, like, I get what you're saying, but like, not really. I need to, you know, get on it. But like, truly, medical school will always be there. Live life, save some money, spend time with your friends, your family, get to know yourself before you step into this role that you're gonna have for the rest of your life. And I truly think that me being in this gap year, I am learning how to understand who I am as a person, who I want to be as a future physician, as a future partner to my boyfriend, as a future friend, and just all the roles I'm gonna have in life beyond being a physician. I am molding into what I need it to be, so that when I am a physician, I know how to care for patients, treat patients, critically think, and a whole bunch of other things that I just might not have time to, you know, understand or think about when I'm studying for my boards. But anyway, that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this video is helpful to anybody who is considering a gap year, whether it's for medical school or just any other career path. Take the gap year, have fun, live life, you know what I mean? But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, leave a comment down below. If you made it to the end of this video, what emoji do I want you to leave? I want you to leave a brown heart. Leave a brown heart down below if you made it this far, so I know you watched it all the way through. And I have more sit down videos planned for my career path, medical journey, and stuff like that. I know I haven't really been talking about it a lot on my different platforms, TikTok included, but we're gonna get into it. I just, you know, was going through life, going through some things, living life, not really thinking about it. But I have a lot of good things planned for you guys that I want to talk about, and hopefully you can be inspired and motivated by my journey. And that's it. I won't babble longer. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.